Hello everyone, this is Suzanne at The Gospel Truth. Welcome back. Today is Monday for me. It's Tuesday for you. I'm pre-recording some of my videos so that hopefully we won't miss a day that way. So we're going to jump into our study. Yes, we have begun a new study called The Master Potter by Jill Austin. Excellent writer. And it's an allegory. And an allegory is, the power of an allegory is its ability to create vivid pictures in the imagination that releases unexpected insights into the story. I hope you've enjoyed our study, Keep the Faith by Dr. David Jeremiah, that we just got done. Previous to that, I think we finished up a study on the life of Corrie ten Boom, which was a really good study for us. So I hope you're enjoying these different books that I'm choosing, and I hope it's edifying you to the fullest. All right, we're going to talk about the settings and characters in this allegory and kind of give you an idea of the names of the characters. All right, we're going to be talking about Comfort Cove. It's a quaint 19th century seaside fishing village, Comfort Cove. The Potter's Field, the garbage dump outside of Comfort Cove. The Potter's House, Master Potter's home overlooking Comfort Cove. Deeper Life, a religious commune in the wilderness. Formidable Mountains, a rugged mountain range behind the Potter's House. Precarious Pass, a dangerous pass through the formidable mountains. Mountain of Fire, a mountain kiln deep within the formidable mountains. Madame False Destiny's Inn, an entertainment establishment. The major characters: Father in Heaven, Master Potter / Son of God, Holy Spirit, Beloved / Forsaken, a pitcher, Satan, Prince of Darkness. Demons and Angels: Michael the Archangel, Gabriel the Messenger Angel, Valiant, Beloved's Guardian Angel. Death, Suicide, Fear of Man, Religious Ritual, Law and Order. Comfort Cove. These are some of the characters that live in Comfort Cove. Antagonist, Forsaken's former boyfriend. Madame False Destiny, a spiritualist and owner of the inn. The Fire Chief, Major Lesserist. Pastor Compromise, a pastor of the Country Club Church. Grandma Pearl, beloved deceased grandmother. Beloved's father, the town drunk. Pottery tools: unrelenting love, a large stone used to crush clay pots. Servant, a reddish-brown bowl. Soaking love, a sponge. Piercing love, a needle-like tool used to puncture air bubbles. Rite of passage, a cutting wire used to remove the vessel from the potter's wheel. Pruning, a metal trimming tool used to take excess clay from the bottom of the pots. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? The Wilderness, Amazing Grace, a mysterious guide. Pastor Beguiler, pastor of Deeper Life Community Church. Mrs. Beguiler, Pastor Beguiler's wife. Enchanter, Pastor Beguiler's son. Purity and promiscuity, Beloved's daughter. Crusader, rebellious, Beloved's son. And Beloved's friends. Turncoat / faithful, a sugar bowl. A card dealer at Madame False Destiny's Inn. Comrade, friendless, a squatty mug. Harvester, a large canister. Sweet adoration, a perfume vial. Long-suffering, a tall, willowy vase. Golden incense, a teapot. Fearless, a wine carafe. Joyful, a wine goblet. Patience, a beautiful vase. Steadfast, a large serving platter. Diligence, a sturdy casserole dish. Abundance, a large fruit bowl. His desire, a glazed pitcher. So these are the things we'll be reading about. The setting, Major characters, demon and angels, comfort cove, pottery tools, the wilderness, and beloved friends. The Potter's Field, Chapter 1. This is Jill's studio, the author of this book, Jill Aston. The lump of shapeless clay hit the center of the wheel with a satisfying thunk. I smiled as I gave the wheel a few more kicks. The water from my sponge dribbled onto the formless gray lump. With little effort, the clay was centered, and I plunged my thumbs into the middle to form an opening for a picture I decided to create. Slowly, gently, I pulled up the walls. I let out a big sigh. I love this creative process. Transforming a worthless lump of clay into a beautiful, highly prized vessel has become a passion of mine for more than 25 years. Now, as we read through this allegory story, we're going to see the creative process of Beloved and how eventually she's going to be turned into this highly prized vessel. I had this picture in mind for a week or more, but hadn't found time to slip off to my studio. Although I didn't understand it, I had a sense of urgency about creating this piece. I felt as if I was birthing something. I smiled as I imagined the finished form, glazed white with royal blue filigree and trimmed in gold. Before I'd start forming it, I knew where it would go, on my mantle with fresh flowers spilling over the sides. In joyous anticipation, I'd already cleared the space on my mantle. Okay, let me take a sip. I felt comfortable, even secure, sitting at the potter's wheel, cocooned away from the world, lost in my affection for this pot. Outside my studio, it was raining, and lightning flashes highlighted the rain hitting the skylight. Even the thunder claps sounded warm and friendly. But life can be so capricious. Reveling in my work, I had no way of knowing that someone was dialing my phone number, and her message could send me spinning into turmoil. My fervency for this piece was so great that I almost didn't answer the phone, but I yielded to an inner voice urging me to pick it up. Thick gray clay coated the receiver and tangled into my sun-streaked blonde hair. Brushing the matted hair from my face with my forearm, I heard the distraught voice of Jennifer's mother on the other end. It was tragic news. There had been a terrible car accident. I hung up the phone, leaned my head back against the window, and looked into the sky as rain washed down the window in streaks, forming little rivers on the glass. I slumped over and began to weep. After a few minutes, I lifted my wet face upward and asked God, why? Why? Jennifer had been like the sister I'd never had. We grew up together through grade school and high school. Her dad was an alcoholic, and it seemed as if she spent more nights in my house than she did at her own. She dropped out of high school with just 2 months left to marry a 27-year-old alcoholic. I begged, pleaded, and cried, but I couldn't talk her out of it. Then she got pregnant. The beatings began. He went to jail, and she was a single mom. The last few years, she had already tried to turn her life around. I think that being responsible for her sweet daughter, Carrie, had a lot to do with it. To Carrie, I was Aunt Jill, the pot lady. After years of making bad choices, even though she had done her best to leave that life behind, the destructive patterns kept controlling her. It seemed that she couldn't escape, no matter how hard she tried. I spent years crying and praying for her, but she kept rejecting God's love. Unbelievably, a drunk driver had hit her car on the passenger side as he ran a red light. She was sober, but it seems that the demon of alcohol never let her get far from its wretched grip. That's ironic, isn't it? Grew up, her dad was an alcoholic, and she married a 27-year-old alcoholic, and she ends up dying in a car accident caused by an alcoholic. That's a lot. That's sad. Now little Carrie was teetering between life and death, and Jen, whose life was not in danger, had broken bones from her skull to her ankles. They both needed surgeries, but of course Jen couldn't afford health insurance. Still sobbing gently, I looked down at the picture slowly turning on the wheel. "Here is Jennifer," I said, motioning to the half-completed form, "and here is the world." Angry at the world and at God, I brought both fists crashing down on the pot. I scooped the mangled vessel off the wheel and hurled it into the refuse pile with the other discarded pots. I had a unique design for each of these pots, but they never realized their potential and had become nothing but rubbish. I think probably her friend Jennifer never realized her potential. And that's sad when we don't recognize our potential and we don't keep moving forward in a good direction. Hurt and disgusted, I turned off the lights at the studio and plodded through the rain back to the house. After washing up, I threw a few logs onto the old stone fireplace while the kettle on the stove came to a boil. Settling into an overstuffed leather chair in front of the fireplace, I put my feet up and waited for the cup of tea to cool enough for a first sip. I tried in vain to push the image of the car accident out of my head. Surely this hasn't happened. Then I noticed a vacant spot I prepared on the mantel, and hot tears cleared the rims of my eyes and spilled down my cheeks. Lord, why does life have to be so hard? Jennifer suffered so much, and now this. Why did you make your people so weak? We're just dirt and water mixed together and formed into fragile clay vessels, so breakable, so vulnerable, so expendable. I stared at the dancing flames and took a sip of tea. Ouch! Still too hot. A bolt of lightning struck close outside, and the immediate thunderclap was right overhead. I took several deep breaths to help slow my racing heart and went back to prayer. Oh, Lord, what if Carrie dies? How would Jennifer ever recover? It's not fair. Life's too hard. Sometimes it seems as if we're all pots on a potter's wheel spinning out of control. In an instant, the room became pregnant with the presence of God. Wow. Have you ever felt that way, where the room became pregnant with the presence of God? I believe I have. Hopefully we can all say that. It's a very special moment. Deep in my spirit, I heard a voice. Fragile, yes, but there's a mystery in why I created earthenware vessels. When they realize their great weakness, they will call out to me. Each one's journey takes them through much joy and pain, but no person or situation is beyond hope. There is no tragedy that cannot be redeemed. I am the God of second chances, and I passionately love every one of my vessels. Each one is a unique piece of beautiful art, designed before the foundation of the world and fashioned by my loving hands. Let me take you to Kedem, the land of earthen vessels, and to a village called Comfort Cove, and show you another little wounded clay vessel. No one believed she had a future or hope either, but my son, the master potter, fought to redeem her as his bride. This young woman's name is Forsaken, but to him she has always been beloved. Okay, I think we're going to stop there. When we come on, we will, of course, continue. And when we get to chapter 3 is when the allegory is going to start. This is all kind of prep work to get into the story. I feel that it's very important. And this is a great study. I think so far my favorite thing says, in an instant the room became pregnant with the presence of God. And isn't it true that each of our journeys takes them through much joy and pain? Your journey is different than my journey. But we can understand each other's journey and empathize with each other, especially when you go through things that are similar to another person. Then you really begin to start understanding. and having more empathy and maybe giving a little bit more love, a little bit more encouragement. And that is so important in our walk with Christ. This is going to be an awesome story. I'm already loving it. So you take care. You have a blessed day in the Lord. We have a therapy appointment today at 2 o'clock, which I'm looking forward to. And I'm going to see if I can squeak out a hat before I leave. I'm really enjoying making those hats. And Joanne, thank you so much for complimenting my hats. I really appreciate that. I put a lot of love into them, and it's so exciting when I take it off of my machine and do the finishing touches, and it's a real good feeling, and knowing that eventually they're going to go to somebody that can really use the hats. All right, you take care, everyone. I love each and every one of you. And like I said, today is Monday. This will air on Tuesday. And then probably tomorrow I'll do Wednesdays. And I'm going to try to get my momentum going, and we can get on a much better schedule. You got to take those moments when you feel halfway decent and go, okay, I'm going to do this right now. That'll be done. I have a spurt of feeling good. You ever do that? Oh, goodness. All right, take care for now. Bye-bye.